there's just so much that you learn through competition that you need to survive in a tough world when they get out. Those skills are really what allow our students to be successful in life.
Big thanks to Practice Plan for allowing us to use their booth today. If you are needing revenue in quick and efficient manner, you need to reach out to Practice Plan. Easy, seamless facility rental. Thank you to John and the team for allowing us to be here. Welcome back to another episode of The Path Forward. We're here, TASA Midwinter 2025, Austin, Texas, and I have a first-time guest that I've always wanted to pick his brain. Superintendent, Flour Bluff ISD, Chris Steinbruck. Coach, welcome. Do you mind? Is it okay if I call you Coach?
Absolutely. That's not going away. 23 years of coaching, that's going to be there forever, I think.
Welcome to the show. And, Flour Bluff has had a long history of success academically, athletically. You were a large part of that athletic success. And then you make a change that I would assume threw a lot of people for a loop. Can you share a little bit about the story transitioning from AD to superintendent?
Yeah, it was October of 23 in the middle of football season. And we'd actually played our second district game and got a visit from the board attorney just saying that your role and responsibility may be increasing dramatically here in the future. And so, that conversation led to being named the interim superintendent there right in the middle of October of 23, and then did that until into January,
right?
And signed my contract in February, the February 14th board meeting, I think, of 2024. So about 15 months into the superintendency and going straight from coaching into it has been unique, especially at the 5A level. Very unique, juggling both, but it's been a total team effort. We have an amazing team of people, and everybody just rallying together to do what's best for kids at Flour Bluff is what we've done.
No, y'all definitely continued the legacy of success there. I gotta know. So you get the message, and then immediately, what's going through your mind, and who do you have to talk to first to kind of, all right, so we got to communicate this somehow.
Right. No, definitely. It was, my mentor, Joe Kelly, that hired me as a teacher coach in 02, and then as the AD head football coach in 14, visiting with him a little bit. And he had come back to help lead 3 different searches for the district. So reaching out to him and then just got a lot of relationships with a lot of great people, and just trying to get as much information as I could on how to proceed, and bringing in the staff. And the big thing was communicating with our staff that we don't want to take anything away from our season and our kids. We don't want this to be a distraction because we're in the middle of the season. So the big thing for me was, if we don't make it a big deal, then our kids aren't going to make it a big deal.
I like that.
And letting everybody know, if we hadn't had the success in every program year after year, the board wouldn't have had the confidence in me to step into that position. And so celebrating everybody in extracurricular, because when I became athletic director, my focus was on winning the UIL Cup. And it really bred a culture of everybody working great together, sharing kids, sharing athletes, academics being our priority, but understanding the things and the lessons that kids learn through competition.
Absolutely.
That they can't learn in the classroom. And so we want that total educational experience for all of our kids to be premier. And so just celebrating everybody, the opportunity. And I think there's a sense of pride, especially from fellow coaches,
Mm-hmm.
that leadership ability is appreciated coming from the coaching world.
Absolutely.
And it's been a great ride, really has.
That's amazing, and I would second your comments on, being an athletic director is one of the things that's probably closest that you could possibly a position that you could you could compare to superintendent, high school principal, athletic director, or dealing with similar things that a superintendent has to. You know, you said something very powerful, that you wanted to win the UIL Cup. How do you stay focused as a coach and a leader? You know, because a lot of guys come in and it's like, all right, football's the priority and everything else is going to be secondary. How did you manage to, like, all right, I know this is about all kids, all programs in our district?
There were some other competitive districts that I saw that just focused on one or two sports,
Yeah,
and it just it bred a lot of animosity from that community. They had a booster club for every sport, so it created a little competition
sure.
between.
Haves and have
Yeah,
nots. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And so we've got one booster club. They all raise money for all of our athletes. I think that culture is important. And then, you know, um, just what brought my wife and I to Flour Bluff was the academic excellence.
Yes.
When I got there, extracurriculars were not phenomenal by any stretch. Football had only made the playoffs one time in its history.
Oh, wow.
So we came for that academic excellence, but we started building something with extracurriculars and getting our community to understand that there's just like I said earlier, there's so much that you learn through competition that you need to survive in a tough world when they get out. That competition and get knocked down and
That's right. Adversity.
practicing
Yeah.
getting back up. Yeah, those skills are really what allow our students to be successful in life. And so communicating that out. But yeah, that UIL Cup focus, all of our head coaches really appreciated that. And then they went to bat for you as
Yep.
an athletic director. If there was questions or concerns about certain things in the community, our head coaches knew that whenever they needed something, that I was going to do my best to, if I had to, find creative ways to get what they needed, because we're trying to score as many points in the UIL Cup as possible.
Yep. 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 So I got to imagine, like, when you get the news and then you're processing, how do you have that conversation with the family and what that's going to mean? Like, that's always the thing with superintendents is there's the job, and then there's all of the good and bad in terms of your family. How did you share that?
Yeah, it's been a challenge. Leaving that fraternity is difficult.
Yes.
It just, those relationships completely change. And for the wife, coach's wife, Roxanne, had been a part of the sorority of the coach's wife sorority, and making that change, it's been a challenge. Our youngest daughter, Caitlin's a junior in high school, so I've had 3 that's graduated Flour Bluff, one left, and it wasn't an easy decision. As far as, I loved coaching, I miss it every day, but it was just an opportunity to be able to impact more kids on a bigger level, and one of those deals where 23 years in, I'm like, you know what, this is going to be a challenge, and I think I'm ready for a new challenge. And then, I think you don't want to second guess or think. Once we talked it out and said, you know what, let's try it. And I got to test drive it for a few months too, as the interim, and that was unique. Not a lot of people get to do that. And
That's true. That's a good point.
I was, a couple closed sessions. I was like, I don't know if I want to might want to give the keys back to this thing. But no, we got a great supportive board, and they were all 100% in. And after that test drive, I said, you know what, this community has been so good to us, and I'm going to do my best to lead it with honesty and integrity, and just good old-fashioned hard work.
Yep. And the proof's in the pudding for all of y'all's success. How long between being named and were you able to break away from the field, or just looking at football, because that's been your life and you love it? Was there a period of, man, you're still kind of trying to be in it, but you can't be in it? So because I struggled with that mightily, leaving athletics, just being a principal.
Right.
I was like, because I loved it,
Mm-hmm.
and you always love it. Did you have a period where it was like, oh God, I missed that part of it?
No, definitely. And finishing the season strong was so important. So I just blocked out the athletic periods. Had my secretary block out those, and I was getting over to athletics during the athletic period, and just a ton of work on the weekends. But this season, I tried to stay away as
Yes.
much as I could. Obviously, I popped my head in there, but we were fortunate to be able to promote our defensive coordinator, Clint Elwood, who had been there since 2009, and keep the entire staff intact. And so they've been doing, as you know, it takes a total team effort.
No doubt.
They were good, and just popping my head in and out, but I needed to be away from it. And I'm so busy, you don't have much time to think
No.
about it. You know how that is. So
Yeah, eventually you're like, all right, you have to release it because it's
Right.
just like I can't do it. I don't have bandwidth to do it because I'm dealing with everything else.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But I kind of question, we've had 9 superintendents in 12 years at Flour Bluff, and we've had only 3 ADs now in 22 years. So I told my wife, I don't know if I'm making a good decision here. But Joe Kelly came back 3 different times, and we had David Freeman passed. He'd come from
Yeah.
London ISD,
Yeah.
and he was with the district for a year and passed. And so we've had some challenges
No doubt.
as a district.
COVID.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some challenges, and the 23 years of relationship building as a coach in the community, and my kids basically being raised in that community. That trust and those relationships went a long way
Yes.
in supporting me. And again, I mean, it is a total team effort. We've got a great team of people.
Do you feel like, one of the parallels I always thought was interesting is you've got relationship with kids and parents, and you've seen them grow and progress, and so you can coach them a little differently. Sometimes you can coach them a little harder because you know what they need and you know how they'll respond. Do you feel like that's the same with the school board, right? Because I'd like to say that everything is, you know, puppies and ice cream in school board meetings, but I think everybody realizes that's not always the case. Are you able to have some different type of conversations just because you know your board, y'all been in the work a long time together, and there's a different level of trust to be able to have some conversations when tough things come up.
No, definitely. And 6 out of 7 of our board members graduated from Flour Bluff. And so, and the 7th has been in the community forever. His wife was assistant superintendent, and all their kids graduated from Flour Bluff. So I think sharing that genuine love for our kids and our community in our school definitely goes a long way with that trust that they have
Sure.
in me to lead. And yeah, I mean, we all know and have been connected with all different sorts of things. And I think the thing that really I think stood out to their willingness to make that move was I was doing so much more than just the AD head football coach. I helped with a lot of good people, helped create a sports marketing program that's now grown into an entire media program with some CTE certifications.
Oh, nice.
That was just built with trying to get our students to lead an entire broadcast for football games, and then that grew into doing announcements for our school, our high school, to doing media kind of campaigning for the different programs to celebrate all success. And so that's built now into, we have 3 full classrooms of students that have all kinds of opportunities now. So it wasn't just about focusing on the AD head football. I was trying to bring in real world hands-on learning opportunities that our athletic programs could kind of help support.
Yeah, like a little spark to grow something. And I love that because I always advocate. It's like, look, athletics is just something that it's easy to get behind, and it can be a starting point if you're trying to build other things along the way. And I think that's a perfect example. You take a spark here, and then you pull in all of the different. I mean, marketing hits everything, right?
Right.
I mean, I think that I love that. That's exactly how you do leverage sports,
Right.
For all the people that are like, it's always about this sports. Well, we're gonna provide a lot of other opportunities, but we're gonna spark it because everybody gets behind sports.
Yeah, a lot of our theater kids are on the broadcasting the games, and so that's been huge. So just creating that culture too, where we're trying to find a program for every single student.
Yeah.
Right? You look at the research, if they're involved in some type of extracurricular, whatever it is, I mean, we're going to graduate more of them. They're going to have more success in life. So we're trying to find every opportunity. And as the AD head football coach, I was like, some of our kids, they may have been injured or they have a love for sports, but they're not a very talented athlete. But this is a way they can continue to be a part of it. And get some real world hands on. Our Corpus Christi Hooks have hired several of our students.
Nice.
Texas A&M Corpus Christi athletics, we have several there. So creating good opportunities for our kids is a win for sure.
We talked a little bit about the parallels of leadership and coaching as an AD versus a superintendent. What's the biggest difference that you recognized and said, all right, this is totally something that doesn't touch any of my previous experience?
Yeah, that on the curriculum side, I needed some help. Just kind of what are those things that are working curriculum on the curriculum side that are making us successful. And then are we doing just trying to get your hands in on that piece? Primarily at the elementary level,
Sure.
right? So trying to surround yourself with really good people, talented people that know, that are strong where you're weak, has been super beneficial. The board let me bring on a deputy superintendent, and she's got that experience, and so that was big. So I think that's probably the number one as far as the differences.
What I love about what you just said is it is hard for when you're very successful at something and then you transition. Case in point, leaving education, and in terms of my career, still in education, but going to the private sector, whole lot of new learning, and the fact that you're able to say, I need help, and go find the best and brightest to be a part of the team. There's a lot of times that we struggle with that as leaders, right? Because you don't want to. You're supposed to be leading, and you feel like you have to have all the answers, and no one does, right? But that leadership is about understanding when you do need help, and then going and find the people to pull into the team to make things happen. So I know you said that, and that's just, but that's not. It's a rare thing for a leader to be able to sit there and say, look, this is something that I'm going to go find some people to really help, and as I'm growing my own skill set with that. That's not common. I'll just say that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we have really good curriculum people
Well,
that
y'all's
have been there
y'all's academics
forever. Yeah.
speak for itself.
But just being able to have somebody at that level as a deputy superintendent, as I'm out in the community and stuff, that can help fill those voids is very important.
I love it. What's a piece of advice? So you had a unique path to the superintendent, and now there's 70 vacancies last I checked, of superintendencies that are not filled across our state. And so my belief is they're going to be more non-traditional, what we call non-traditional routes to the superintendency. What would be some advice if people are in a different role and they're either asked or they're thinking about, I'm going to transition to leadership? Anything that you'd say, think about this, consider this, do this?
Oh, definitely. I think the thing for athletic directors, I think, is just that constant readiness that you have to be in, and then just the sense of urgency that comes with the job. Being able to take that into the superintendency has been key. Where every day that I pull into the office, like I'm like dedicated to trying to figure out ways to improve,
right,
and building that team of people that maybe don't come from a background where if you don't perform, you're packing your U-Haul.
That's right.
And so in our community, the expectations are so high that I think maybe that's something that's good. Where I've never felt comfortable as an athletic director, and I should never feel comfortable as a superintendent, and knowing that every day you have to perform, right? Nobody cares how many games we won the year before. It's about what are we going to do this year. And so bringing that over, and I think if you're in a similar position where you have that sense of urgency on the day-to-day to try to improve, I really do think you can step into the superintendent role and be successful. I really do.
That's awesome. That's great advice. Okay, last question. What do you love most about Flour Bluff?
Man, there's so much. I said this at convocation, and Ray Zepeda, our director of UIL, came back. He's a graduate of Flour Bluff, and he came back and gave our keynote at convocation. But before he got up on stage, I struggled for 22 years to figure out what made Flour Bluff so special. You go around the state, and people are always wondering, like, man, Flour Bluff, I hear such great things. Like, what is it? And for 22 years, I struggled to really put your finger on one thing because there's so many things.
Mm-hmm.
But after that first year in the superintendency, I figured it out.
Okay.
And number one, the most important piece to our success and the thing that makes Flour Bluff so special is the people. It's when you go visit those campuses, you do your walkthroughs and you do your learning walks, and you see those teachers, and there's such a pride with being at Flour Bluff, and they're all working so hard to deliver to the community the expectation of excellent education.
Mm-hmm.
And so it definitely is the people. A very, very special community. All of our schools within walking distance from K through 12. So, but definitely the people make it what it is.
Well, I want to say congratulations and to your success, not only all of your coaching success, but just as a leader, right? Because that's not an easy task to make that type of transition and do it in a time that's very tumultuous in our state and with finance and everything, and to be able to maintain the success, and that's a rare thing. So, Coach, man, best of luck to Flour Bluff. I want to have you back on because I do want to dig into a little bit more next time.
I'd love to
when we have some time. But
yes,
just an outstanding job that you guys are doing. I'm very, very proud, very impressed, and best wishes to Flour Bluff, man.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks, Coach. And if you like what you heard and what you see, please like, subscribe, share, comment. We're always trying to bring you a different perspective from leaders across the state. So join us again on the path forward.